In the capital, it's all coming to a head. Prime Minister Modi is going to be stepping in to the arena. 3 rallies, massive rallies across the city. The last one will end on February 2nd, 72 hours before polling on February 5th. Viewers, the BJP today in advance has announced a slew of new freebies, promising that this is welfare. So basically, viewers, when AAP comes out with their freebies, it's ravery. When the BJP announces its freebies, it is welfare. There's a bit of hypocrisy here. There's hypocrisy on other issues too. But will all this add up to put the BJP in pole position? Fundamental question. And we are speaking tonight to Jay Panda, the man the BJP has put in charge of running the campaign in the national capital. And viewers, we've asked him some pressing questions in an interaction that I had with him a short while ago. Listen to this, viewers. Hello, viewers. We're in the thick of Delhi poll season, and who better to speak about the BJP's prospects but its National Vice President, Jay Panda, Member of Parliament from AAPada, but been given the all-important task of looking after running the BJP campaign in a city or in a city-state where it hasn't won for more than 3 decades. While you do fantastically well at the Lok Sabha level, the BJP seems to come up short, and it has been now consistently over its 6 elections. Why?
There's a variety of reasons. The most important for the last 10 years has been that this AAPada, this disaster that has overtaken Delhi, has got away with a lot of false promises. Now, let me give you a little more background. You're quite right. Under Prime Minister Modi's leadership, not just in Delhi, but around the country in a large number of states, at the Lok Sabha elections, we've been consistently getting more than 51% vote share. So, whether the opposition is united, whether they contest separately, like in Delhi in the last Lok Sabha elections, the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress were united. We still beat them, got all 7 seats in the Lok Sabha. Now, back in the 80s and 90s, when it was a different political scenario, we used to form the government here with a vote share that was only about 1/3 of the votes. But even that has been increasing gradually over the years. In the last assembly election 5 years ago, we got 38%. In the last municipal election 2 years ago, we improved that further to 42%. And the gap with the AAPada, which used to be in double digits, came down to just 2 or 3% at the last MCD elections. Now, subsequently, a lot has happened. The AAPada leadership has lost its sheen. You know, there's an old saying, you can fool some of the people all the time, you can fool all the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. And they've been able to cheat the people of Delhi 3 successive times over a decade with lots of false promises. And now that sheen is gone. Also, their own, whatever positioning they had built for themselves is gone, with their top leaders being in jail for many months because of corruption allegations. The CAG's report of more than 2,000 crores of malfeasance. This time the people of Delhi have had enough. They want a change. They want to give a chance to the BJP.
But look, you said that the AAP party had been able to sort of pull the wool over the people's eyes. I mean,
I'll give you specific examples.
No, so I'll come to that. But the BJP actually hasn't won even under Sheila Dikshit. So is it because you haven't had a leader to rally the campaign around, someone who cuts across various groupings and puts your point across in a manner that is credible?
No, you know, this is a narrative that the AAPada people are trying to spin. Let me explain. All over the country, we've been winning in most of the states. And if you take the last 12 months, we won in states that nobody gave us a chance, whether it was Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Haryana, Maharashtra, and everywhere we have collective leadership. At the national level, we have the world's most popular leader, Prime Minister Modi. At the state level, we have collective leadership, and we come up with very good faces after the election. So that's not a reason. And the reason that the AAPada people are trying to spin this narrative is because they themselves are in a big dilemma, because their former chief minister, who has just got out of jail, has very stringent conditions by the Supreme Court. He can't be chief minister. He's not allowed to go into the CM's office. He's not allowed to sign files. And he's gone on the record insulting their woman chief minister by saying that she's temporary. So they don't have an answer as to who will lead their team. So they're trying to mislead by trying to spin this. But let me point out, as I said...
But who are the faces then? I mean, who
we have lots of
in the running? There was so much talk that perhaps Nupur Sharma would be projected. Was she ever in the running?
I'm not going to... listen, I'm not going to go into speculation. Again, I'll repeat. Look at how the elections were run in Odisha, where I'm from. Look at how the elections were run in Chhattisgarh. Look at a variety of other states. We've always had collective leadership. In Delhi, we have a very good number of leaders.
Now, you talk about people you projected or you've given tickets to. So the BJP prides itself as a party with a difference. It's an old sort of Mr. Advani's sort of line that was given. Yet you fielded candidates like Ramesh Biduri from Kalkaji. He's been in the news not for the right reasons. I don't need to tell you some of the comments that he made in Parliament, again against Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, etc. In an urban setting like Delhi, do you think this is a disqualifier?
I want to make something very clear. The BJP sets very high standards as far as the dignity of women is concerned. Prime Minister Modi and the Modi government have done more for the upliftment of women than anybody in many, many decades. You look at the campaigns for Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. You look at the campaign. Let me answer that. So we've made it very clear that our candidates, our karyakartas are expected to hold to certain norms. The particular example that you are citing, the person has already expressed his regrets. Maybe in the spur of the moment, he said something that he regrets. Once somebody has expressed regret, I think we should let that bygone be bygone. The people who are trying to rake it up are obviously with a political motive. They are trying to stir that water. The reality is, the AAPada party in that particular constituency, which has a woman chief minister, openly calls her temporary, openly slights her on stage. If that is not an insult to women, I don't know what is.
But was a message sent to Mr. Biduri?
When somebody has apologized, when somebody has expressed regret for saying something, got carried away by the moment or something, I think we should let that rest.
Nupur Sharma ever in contention?
I'm not going to go into specifics because
but you're not denying.
I'm not going to go into any specifics. Let me put it this way. I'm neither denying nor confirming. Look, the BJP is the world's largest party in history, and it is also the world's most transparent and democratic party. So yesterday's tea seller is today not only our 3-term prime minister, but the world's most popular leader. We have chief ministers in many states, in Odisha, in Rajasthan, in many other states, who are people that have come up from the rank and file. So any karyakarta can aspire to contest in the BJP.
Do you think Nupur Sharma was wrong?
Let me just complete. So it's not just a party where you can pull strings and get tickets. So the reality is, we consult our karyakartas at the district level. We consult our karyakartas and leaders at the state level. It goes up to the highest level, which is our parliamentary board, which decides. We take all kinds of feedback, including surveys. All I will say is that we have put up very strong candidates, and we have considered anybody who was an aspirant, but the decisions that have been taken with a sense of responsibility and collective decision.
Do you think she was wronged, Nupur Sharma? I'm just talking in the sense that she was a very prominent face in Delhi. Do you think she was wrong? Do you think your party has missed out on having her campaign?
Look, I don't think that is relevant to the current discussion about the election in Delhi. But overall, I think if you analyze not just this case, but many cases, and I believe you yourself have gone into some of these issues, there is certainly a hypocrisy out there when it comes to people who are targeted. People who are targeted. There are people out there who have openly encouraged or supported or defended people like the killers of that poor tailor in Rajasthan, like the killers of many other people in many states in the country, and they get treated with kid gloves, and depending on ideology, they seem to target certain kinds of people, and there is a certain hypocrisy, there is unfairness, there is a global cabal that goes about it in a dedicated manner, but that is for a different context and a different discussion.
So you raised the point of hypocrisy in another context, but I want to talk about hypocrisy in this context. Now, there is a charge, and the AAP has been going to town saying that you've run out of fresh ideas, that you're copying the AAP manifesto. The BJP has promised 2,500 rupees for women and 21,000 for pregnant women. How does the BJP's manifesto then differ from some of these promises made by the AAP and the Congress?
In three very substantial ways. But first, let me say that, you know, people would be crazy to follow the AAPada, because nobody wants to be in jail like they have been, caught with their hands in the till, in the liquor scam, in the classroom scam, in so many other scams. Nobody wants to copy them, least of all the BJP. But I'll tell you in welfare programs how there are three essential differences. So number one, the BJP under Prime Minister Modi does run the world's largest welfare programs for the underprivileged. For example, the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana, which provides rations to 800 million people. It's a welfare program. The health care program that I was talking about, Ayushman Bharat, is the world's largest health care program. We provide DBT, direct benefits transfer, financial assistance to women in many other states, in Madhya Pradesh, in Chhattisgarh, Odisha, other states. Now, there are three essential differences. Difference number one is we are fiscally responsible. We do this after careful vetting, making sure that we have the funds and that it doesn't drag down the economy. And so, none of these states, we have given all these benefits in other states, none of those states have gone into the red. That's number one.
Whereas Maharashtra is teetering.
Hang on. But we have an example of all over the country where it's far more fiscally responsible than any other state. Now, in Delhi, you have seen that they call the Delhi water free, but the Delhi Jal Board has been run into the ground, thousands of crores of scam, no audit submitted in 7 years, and you cannot drink that water, you'd get sick. Even poor people in the slums are forced to buy water from tankers and in bottles. So, number one is fiscal responsibility, because it is budgeted for. Number two, what we announce, we do it. So, for example, the direct DBT benefits to women in all these other states, we've announced and we have actually delivered. Whereas here, the AAPada government has been in government for 10 years. 2 years, 3 years ago, they promised it in Punjab, they have not done it. They've cheated the people of Punjab. They promised it 3 years ago in Delhi, they have not done it. They've cheated the people of Delhi. And just in December, they promised it to the people of Delhi. There was no code of conduct. They did not pass it in cabinet. It was just a veil. They've cheated them again. So the second difference is we do it. The third difference is we do it without corruption. Now, if you look at, I gave you the example of the Delhi Jal Board, which has been run into the ground in the name of free water. In the name of free electricity, they've got 26,000 crores of bill spending, and electricity is getting disrupted because of that. They've run the Delhi government for the first time into the red fiscally. So we do it without corruption. You can see that because of all these corruption scams, how many of their leaders have spent long spells in jail.
So a couple of points on this business of being fiscally responsible. You look at the case of Maharashtra, you look at the statistics, huge fiscal deficit that is mounting. I just get the sense that what you're saying is that when they give it, it's bravery, but when we give it, it's welfare.
It's very unfair.
What's the difference?
Hang on, let me explain. It's very unfair to pick something out of context. Let me put it in context. Again, the DBT benefits we have given across a whole spate of states. Okay, Odisha is one of the best fiscally managed states. Chhattisgarh is very reasonable. We have done it in Madhya Pradesh. Now, Maharashtra has had political instability for quite some time. It's only very recently that an NDA government has been there and trying to set right the course of the fiscal irresponsibility of the previous years. Now, it's hardly been 2 years and just got re-elected. you have to give them a full term to set right the fiscal situation. So please take the entire context of all the states that we govern, in fact the country that we govern. We have the highest growth rate in the world now for many years running of any large country. We have again taken back fiscal responsibility which had been lost before the Modi era. So it's unfair to just pick out any one thing out of context. Maharashtra will be set right.
So I'll press on, because when they announced 2,100, the people said from the BJP side of the fence that these chaps are taking a shortcut. This is all ravery politics. When you sort of up the stakes and give 2,500, this is welfare, because you deliver it.
There's a much bigger difference.
Okay, what is the difference? Please explain.
Again, let me explain. Why have they been announcing in Punjab and Delhi for the last 3 years and not been delivering? Because they have thrown fiscal caution to the winds for 10 years, and because everything is in the red, they don't have the funding. Now, there's another reason. Now,
no, but that was said about. There was a panel that sat on this. In fact, Delhi government panel that said that all these things that are going to be promised by the AAP, for example, were going to bleed the exchequer. That is what was said. By
yes, they would, and I'll tell you why ours won't. There's a very simple answer, really. Now, it's not rocket science. Let me explain. There are many thousands of crores that the Delhi government is not taking for the Ayushman Bharat. They're not taking that money, so they have to spend money unnecessarily from the Delhi government. Now, there is some 70,000 crores available for infrastructure. It's called the Abhim program. The High Court has given a stricture against the AAPada. 70,000 crores, they are not signing the MOU, they are not taking the money. So Delhi government is being forced to spend lots of money that it does not need to, simply because the drama that the AAPada does. We are promising conflict-free governance. We are promising that we are not going to blame the other states, we are not going to blame the other actors. We will provide a double engine government, and like we do in other states, the fiscal imbalance can be corrected, because there is large quantum of central funds which these people are not utilizing because of political, because of politics. Now for Yamuna, thousands of crores they have taken, and there's no result. What have they done with it? They've siphoned it off. Corruption-free governance will set right the fiscal imbalance, taking the funds of the Modi government. But what is really amazing is there are also other non-BJP governments in the country which take all these funds from the Modi government for Ayushman Bharat, for many of the other infrastructure projects. These people are just being cussed about it.
It's interesting, because the problem with Delhi is, of course, that jurisdictionally it is divided between the LG's office and the CM's office.
There's no jurisdiction that stops them from taking central government money.
Okay. So that's what you're saying. You're saying that they're being
They're being cussed.
They're being cussed.
Look, every day they come up with a new drama, with a new bahana, only to point fingers, because they are mostly interested in siphoning off money. They are only interested in announcing their own schemes, where their the MLAs, not only their leaders, but some of their MLAs are in jail for serious extortion, for MCOCA charges. They're thugs. Now, you can try to explain it away any other way. There's no rational explanation for not taking tens of thousands of crores that the Modi government is offering them.
But do you believe
Tell me something.
The relationship could have been better managed?
Why does you explained about this conflict with the LG? Why is there no conflict with the current CM? Why was it only with the leader of the AAPada? Look, because the current CM is temporary, her own leadership has announced. The leadership of the AAPada. And I suppose you'll also talk about the Jammu and Kashmir example. The leadership of AAPada does drama every single day, has no intention of governance, has not shown any governance for the last 10 years. Where is the infrastructure?
So you're saying that a large number of things are not covered really by the LG's office, roads, medical, education, so you haven't even done well there.
We can go into it in great detail, but the proof of the pudding is, if you don't take tens of thousands of crores of central government money and you run your state into deficit, that's the reason their 2100 is not, they don't have the money to give it, whereas we will have the money to give it, because we will not be focused on conflict, we will be focused on cooperative government. And it's not just a BJP and BJP, this happens in other states also where there are non-BJP governments.
Though you have promised statehood, that doesn't now feature anywhere in the conversation. from the BJP side? You had promised full statehood to Delhi, but that hasn't quite happened, right?
Well, you know, Delhi is a very special situation. It is the capital.
Well, you've gone back on that. That's
Look,
yeah.
it's not an issue in this election. It has been discussed in previous elections. The fact is, Delhi does not look like the capital of the 5th largest economy in the world. We are headed towards becoming the 3rd largest economy. Yet Delhi looks in shambles, and that's not the way it ought to be. And with all the devolution of power that the AAPada people have had, they have misused it. They have simply siphoned off money, gone to jail for it, shown no governance. We will fix that first.
On corruption, and I know this is something that the AAP sort of prides itself in having been the cleanest party and running an anti-corruption agitation, but nonetheless, the MHA's approval suddenly comes for prosecution sanctions against Kejriwal and Manish Sisodia in this liquor policy matter, excise policy matter. Many questions, even neutral observers, have been questioning the timing.
You know, this is very odd because let's take, for example, the bail which was denied to these AAPada leaders, for some of them for 2 years, for some of them 1.5 years, some of them a year. This is not something that's decided by the BJP. This is not something that's decided by the union government or by the agencies. These are decided in a court of law. Now, it's relevant to what you've just raised. Why was normally the principle in India, the judiciary has made it very clear that bail is the norm. When is bail not given? When there are serious allegations which are backed up by prima facie evidence or by money trails, and the people could influence witnesses. That's why until witnesses' statements are all taken, all these people, all these so-called leaders of AAPada had to spend long months in jail and they kept blaming the BJP for it, and they kept blaming the agencies for it. But the agencies have to justify the bail in front of a judge, in front of a court. Now the same thing, the approvals take a process because it has to be vetted. You can't make it whimsically. You can't give it whimsically. Now, when the approval comes, it has to meet a checklist of all the vetting that has to be done. And you know, trying to spin that again to try to become a victim, it's the same old victimhood narrative. It doesn't work anymore.
So you say that the timing is not going to,
it's coincidental.
not an issue.
It's coincidental.
Coincidence.
Nobody has been waiting to start prosecutions just when an election campaign is on. It's coincidental.
I want you to discuss a little bit now about the prospects of the BJP. Are you seeing, you say it's incidental, it's all coincidental, all of this is not going to have an impact on the outcome. People have already made up their mind. To what extent have they made up their mind? To put you in power, leave you short by 10 seats, 5 seats? What exactly is your reading?
I have been spending a lot of time on the ground, going around various districts, having interactions, not just with our party workers, but also with opinion makers. I've been meeting people in RWAs, I've been meeting representatives of the slum areas, I've been meeting representatives of, for example, the auto drivers, for example, domestic workers, many other such things. And I can tell you, there is a great deal of anger against AAPada. Again, let me reiterate, when poor people who've been misled by false promises, when poor people have to, when poor people have to buy bottles of water or from tankers, they don't have the kind of disposable incomes that people in higher economic strata have. It's a real pain for them. And when the basic amenities are not there. Now, in the name of free transport for women, the AAPada people have run DTC into the ground. DTC has something like 1/3 of the buses it needs. So that's a theoretical benefit. Now, people suffer from that as a result of lack of proper public transport. Public transport is in a mess.
I'm coming. Almost triple anti-incumbency over 3 years.
There is
3 terms.
3 terms, 10 years of severe anti-incumbency. I can tell you that in sections of society where we used to get fewer votes, we are getting very good responses.
But you see, the margins are, there are only about 15 seats that were decided by about 10,000 or fewer votes. The rest there have been clear margins. So are you going to be able to, look, there's a long way to traverse.
I think the point I made at the very beginning of this interview probably hasn't got across, so let me reiterate something. The margin back, if you take
The
back,
MCD
if you turn the clock back, the margin used to be in double digits, something like 12, 13, 14% difference. In the MCD, it came down to 2 or 3%. Local polls. So the assembly and the MCD are local elections where people know that it's a different voting than for national elections where they know
But
that
this has been the story of Delhi. Lok Sabha, you do well. MCD, you've done better. But then again,
it's not been the story of Delhi, because even in local elections, the gap used to be substantially higher. This